Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all very much for allowing me in the tail end of this conference, and I hope everybody has been getting a lot out of it. I will say, having come to a lot of conferences, different points in the agenda, you always get a good sense when you walk in how they've been going. And I will say, Mayor Dellums, there were 2 or 3 people that had no skin in the proverbial game that all said this has exceeded all expectations. So congratulations on a very successful few days. People are very pleased. And you know that when people tell you, well, why didn't you do this in San Francisco? And so that's always the undercurrent. And it is a suggestion or recommendation that we will unquestionably consider. I know that Mayor Brown, my predecessor, did something similar a number of years back. Look, I don't want to mince words except to say that I'm immeasurably frustrated. It is remarkable to me that in 2008 that we need to have conferences about interoperability. It's remarkable to me 7 years after 9/11 that we would still be talking about just the basic principle of communication, let alone emergency planning, mutual aid, and strategies of governance around man-made disasters or Mother Nature's own fury. It is excruciatingly frustrating. We are failing. For all the rhetoric in the world, we're not even close to where we need to be. The fact that you have firefighters in Southern California today, right now, I was just with the California firefighters in Sacramento this morning, that were telling me they're on 4 different systems and some of them just using their cell phones, is beyond the pale of rationale, let alone reason. You can't point enough fingers because it doesn't service anybody except to take responsibility to try to solve the problem. The federal government's role, it seems to me, is to help organize the governance of interoperability across this country. It hasn't done its job. States like California try to do their best under extraordinarily difficult circumstances and budget deficits that allow us to pat ourselves on the back because we sold a few $billions of bonds feeling like we had a great week just to pay the bills. That's how low the bar is right now in terms of the fiscal crisis that has manifested itself in California even more acutely, arguably, than any other state in this nation. So the prospect that things are going to get dramatically better in the immediate term is alarming, because the reality is one can't expect them to be. Now here we are as a region trying to take some account and some responsibility and moving away from who's to blame to what to do. A year ago, we got together, Mayor Dellums, myself, and Mayor Reed from San Jose, and said, look, let's at least focus on the jurisdictions within our respective cities and counties. Let's come together, 10 counties in all, 100 cities in a 7,200 square mile area with roughly 7.2, closely still 7.3 million people, and let's get our own act together. Mayor Dellums, you're doing X, Y, and Z internally with interoperability. Mayor Reed in San Jose, you're doing some things. We've been doing a lot in our 800 megahertz system. At least our police and fire can communicate. And we're working with transit agencies and health clinics. But we need to scale this. We recognize the importance of mutual aid. We understand that disasters, by definition, great old throwaway line politicians, have no boundaries. They don't care about jurisdiction. And let's get our act together so that when we have a fire again out in the East Bay, in the Oakland Hills, that mutual aid will work in the context that we're sharing not only voice but data on systems that are collaborative, that are coordinated, spectrums that communicate to one another, frequencies that make some sense, so people don't have to pull out their cell phones in order to get something done. Again, God is my witness. 4 different systems down in Southern California to fight a fire today. This is crazy. 140 years after we had the Hayward earthquake, 19 years to the day, as you all know, the Loma Prieta earthquake, and 7 years plus since 9/11. And with Ray here, I'm sure yesterday, telling you the travails and frustration down with the aftermath of Katrina, with all those lessons learned, here we are still talking about it. So we said, all right, we'll take responsibility, and we have. It's a $604 million plan, of which we have funded about $106 million. But a plan that, if it's going to take shape, requires some cooperation from our friends in Congress, who are all preaching about the incredible importance of interoperability. Yet, in the effort to try to practice it, haven't sent the money with respect to the commerce dollars that we have received and the Homeland Security dollars that we appreciate and have received. And we're fighting now, Congress, myself, the mayors of the region around here, LA, Houston, Washington, D.C., New York, where we have to send letters and advocate with our lobbyists to the FCC about this whole new 700 megahertz strategy